You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Today, this breakfast isn't just breakfast. It might be the first McDonald's breakfast you're having at McDonald's again. This lunch might be a weekly tradition you hadn't had in weeks. And this dinner might be the first one you bought for not just you in a while. Whatever this order is for you, McDonald's will be here to take it.
Get more of the chicken you love with a delicious McChicken sandwich for $1. And for an extra $1, add a refreshing Dr. Pepper. Dining rooms are starting to reopen in certain communities at participating McDonald's. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
In uncertain times, we could use someone to lean on. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Oklahoma will stand by you with plan options to fit your budget. If you've recently lost your job, had a baby, or moved, you can still get the healthcare coverage you and your family need. Financial help may be available for those who qualify. Call 855-452-BLUE or visit hereforyouok.com to see if you're eligible to enroll. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Oklahoma, a division of Healthcare Service Corporation, a mutual legal reserve company.
Not to be a backseat driver, but can you say for sure you got the best monthly payment possible on your auto loan? Could it be that you might have gotten a better deal by shopping the loan at a few places and have a lower car payment? Next time, before you go car shopping, visit Communication Federal Credit Union first. Our auto loan experts will find you a perfect loan and get you the lowest monthly payment we can. Communication Federal, your auto loan experts. Restrictions apply. Federally insured by NCUA.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
A new year means it's time for a new home network that can keep up. With Cox Internet, you have the speed and coverage your family needs to stay connected. You'll enjoy Cox's fiber-based hybrid network with options for fast upload and download speeds. And if your household has lots of connected devices, Panoramic Wi-Fi may be the perfect fit thanks to its additional control features. Plus, with advanced security on Panoramic Wi-Fi, you'll know each connected device is securely protected 24/7. A whole world of connectivity is yours with Cox Internet. Learn more at Cox.com.
Some of you have written in suggesting that I am a whack job.
It's Sunday night with Alan Ray.
Sunday night. Sunday night.
Wow. Here we are. Winding down a 3-day weekend. It must be Sunday night. I must be Alan Ray. This must be Sunday night with Alan Ray. You know, Hurricane Roslyn hit Mexico. And it was like a Cat 3 up to a Cat 4, dropped back down to a Cat 3, right on the verge there, going into Mexico. Man, that thing pooped out faster than a 2-minute Joe Biden press conference. Holy cow. It is now a tropical depression, 35-mile-an-hour winds and a whole bunch of rain. I can't believe it's not Alan Ray, right, Orty? If it's Sunday night and you find yourself traipsing around the internet and you happen to blindly stumble across this show, get into that chat room at www.klrnradio.com, America's podcast network, and you'll see such shady miscreants such as Jeff and Orty and Mike and Eric and GR. Who else we got in that? Raptor, of course, Raptor. He's not getting much sleep these days. I kind of, Rex is in there now. Mike's all happy. Philly won. They're going to the series. He's all happy. He's doing backflips in there. You never see a big guy like that do backflips. It's scary. It's scary as all get out. So welcome to the show. Yeah, I was tracking Rosalind, not much, because I'm not going to lie to you. I've really been kind of out of touch for the last 3 days. It was my wife. My lovely wife has been putting up with my proverbial BS for about 33 years married, 3 years before that, even dating. God, the woman deserves some kind of a trophy, an award or something like that. Anyways, we've had a great weekend. We enjoyed Mother Nature. We were out at, in Irish Hills, Michigan, out at the Hidden Lake Garden Park, which is this Michigan State University. Actually, I think they own that still, and they use it for just a plant display, but it is just a beautiful place, especially on a day like today with all the Michigan fall colors turning. Trees were bright red, bright orange. Some pines were still dark green. Just a gorgeous day. And we weren't alone. Wow. There was a lot of people cruising through there, walking around, walking their animals. And the coolest thing about that, in a lot, I will rant quite often tonight, I'm sure. But I get tired of entertainment costing so stinking much. Going to a football game, baseball game, professional sports team, the tickets are just outrageous. College sports tickets are just outrageous. Even the zoo, the Toledo Zoo, tickets were just phenomenally expensive. How do people with, young people growing up with families, they can't afford this stuff. They can't afford to go to places like that. And here's Hidden Lake Garden, just a gorgeous place. A lot to do, a lot to explore, trails everywhere. You can either drive your car through it, walk through it. I've run 5 and 10K races through it. And they're just making it better and better every year. And it's $5 a person to get in. $5. That's it. $5 a person at the gate. And in you go. And like I said, there's just people all over the place just getting out and enjoying this unseasonably warm weather we had this weekend. Man, we're not going to have too many more days like this. In fact, I'm looking at the weather, and at least around this state, it's going to stay up here for a couple more days, and then rain's going to set in, and it's going to tank by about 10, 15 degrees. It's still going to be nice. It's still going to be sunny after that rain moves through, but it's not going to be as warm. And man, did we take advantage of it this weekend. It was a great one. I'm so glad. But anyways, I was tracking Rosalind, and man, that thing just pooped right out. Rosalind just hit Mexico, and I don't know, maybe it's just where it hit, or maybe the weather patterns that it hit in. That thing just tanked. Rosalind is just a no-go, which is good. It's good. Good for the people of Mexico. But one thing it got me thinking is they have mudslide alerts. That's kind of, I don't know. That's kind of creepy to me. That mudslides. How do you prepare for a mudslide outside of don't build your house on the bottom of a hill? I think that's the best thing to do. That is my official statement as a lazy prepper to tell you, do not build your house on the bottom of a hill. You may find yourself under 10 to 15 feet of mud. It's really that simple. That's just like people that build their houses like under the Hoover Dam. Why would you build a house? We're just going to move you from this mudslide area. We're going to move you from this high water table area. We're going to move you from New Orleans. And what we're going to do is we're going to build a city right underneath the Hoover Dam. You'll be safe here. Trust us. Joe Biden has mudslide alerts every day. You're probably right, Mike. He probably does. We're going to get into that because in this show, we are prone to raising my cynical head, looking around this wonderful planet we live in and asking the eternal question.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
And that's exactly what we're going to do. There's so much going on this week. It's really hard to just to narrow it down. There's a little bit of Schadenfreude. Okay, I'm not even going to lie. CDC Director Rochelle Walensky came down with COVID a month after a booster shot. Okay, here's the deal. This is her 5th booster shot, according to the New York Post. The director of Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has tested positive for COVID-19 1 month after she publicly celebrated getting her booster shot. Dr. Rochelle Walensky, who tested positive Friday night, is experiencing mild symptoms, according to a release posted to social media. She is isolating at home and will participate in her planned meetings virtually. On September 22nd, Walensky tweeted a picture of herself getting jabbed with an updated version of the COVID-19 shot, along with messages urging others to follow her lead. Laboratory data suggests these updated vaccines provide increased protection against currently circulating variants, she promised. Pfizer formulated the tweaked version of the shot to better target the dominant Omicron variant, the company said. Its studies on the new jab did not track how well the updated booster prevented COVID-19 cases or discover how long it added protection would last. All right. Let's go over a few things, okay? Number one, I've never been anti-vax. Never. I have said on Hardcore Patriot, Circumspice, whatever show I'm doing at the time, if you weigh the odds, if you are in a high-risk category, if you have one of the several symptoms that we know that COVID just attacks, exploits, and drops people like rocks, maybe you should think about getting them. However, what I would like to know is the truth. Now, we all, and it doesn't take much to just go on YouTube and Google the transition between this shot is everything. It will cure COVID. It will stop transition. It will stop everything. If you get the shot, you will not get COVID, blah, 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 all the way into, well, the shot is, it's okay. It reduces the symptoms, but you'll still get COVID. You'll still be able to transmit it. I mean, the transition from one end of the spectrum to the other was absolutely phenomenal. And now, after this was her 5th shot, Walensky has COVID. I can't think of a better scenario to describe the boneheadedness of the CDC, the NIH, Pfizer, and Moderna. When are we going to admit that maybe, just possibly, just maybe, these shots don't work? I didn't even get COVID. Okay, my paycheck depends on me getting the shot, and I had to get a booster. I did not get an mRNA anything. I got the good old-fashioned Johnson & Johnson. They take a little bit of the dead virus, put it in a chicken egg, harvest it, and shoot it into your arm. That's what I got. But I didn't get COVID till after the booster, one of those. And I'm not even sure that guy really gave me the booster. I didn't feel anything, but that's beside the point. That's a story for another day. It makes me wonder, with all these people coming out, and there's that canned response. I got COVID. I tested positive. My symptoms are mild, but thank goodness I've got the shot. Why? Why thank goodness? It had a 99.8% survival rate to begin with. Most people that got it were asymptomatic or very mild symptoms. Why are you proud that you've got 5 shots and it didn't work? And I like that meme that's out there that says, if my dog received 3 rabies shots and still got rabies, I would be asking questions. Well, I'm asking questions. And the funny thing about it is the CDC, actually, the study came out that actually said Pfizer admitted that the vaccine does not stop transmission. And it's hysterical the way the media just flocked to their defense of this lunacy, this lunatic narrative they have. If you just go into Google and say CDC admits vaccines do not stop transmissions, all of these articles come up. And of course, Google is stacked. Google stacks the deck. Google unequivocally, if you're trying to find something unpolitical, you're probably okay Googling it. If you're trying to find the truth in politics and in the stories, Google's probably not your best bet. Something else. Get something else, because Google intentionally stacks the deck towards the left. They've admitted it. But anyways, all you have to do is go in there and put CDC admits vaccines do not stop transmission. And the headlines, the first few stories is, it's not news nor scandalous that Pfizer trial didn't test for transmission. The second one says, alleged revelation about Pfizer vaccine trial is nothing new. The third one, claims that Pfizer didn't know if COVID vaccine prevented transmission before rollout are missing context. It's hysterical. Google is just, and all of these, the usual suspects are just flocking to the CDC side. The problem is yes, they did tell everybody that this shot will stop transmission. This shot will keep you from getting COVID. They came out and said that. We have the receipts. We really, really do. And they're acting like nothing happened in 2020 and 2021. They're acting like we didn't even exist and that we had no idea what we were looking at or hearing, what we were experiencing in those 2 years. They're acting like none of that actually happened. And anybody with half a brain cell that's still firing on half of a neuron knows it did. But if you mention it, you're a conspiracy theorist. If you mention it, you're a vaccine denier. You're a science denier. You're whatever they want to call you. Well, now Rochelle Walensky has COVID. Now, I do hope it's mild. I do hope she doesn't. I mean, I don't want to see anybody get hurt by anything. But how long is it going to be before we start hearing these people come out and say, I got 5 shots. I got 5 shots and I still got COVID. Why? I did that. So I got a shot, I got a booster, and I got COVID. The shot and the booster failed. They failed miserably. They didn't protect me from anything. Oh my gosh, Twitter just about banned me. They put up all kinds of flags and everything around that. Well, it's true. I got a shot, I got a booster, I still got COVID. That means the vaccine isn't a vaccine. It didn't protect me from anything. I still got it. What else was I supposed to say? Oh, well, the shot protected me from getting COVID really, really, really bad. I just got it really bad instead. And these people are just goofy. They're goofy and they expect you to embrace their goofiness. And the memes are just flying in the chat room. It's absolutely hysterical. Look, it's a super mega Delta Plus Pro Deluxe strain of COVID. See, nobody cares. Nobody cares anymore. People are just going, and that's the funny thing is, as much as a lot of people on the left don't like to admit it, don't want to admit it, they're over the whole COVID thing as much as we are. You just don't see that many people wearing masks. You just don't see that many people giving a crap anymore. They're just getting out their life, going on about their business. And I'm sure they don't want to do it in public because they don't want to be seen as some kind of denier. But you can tell in private, they just roll their eyes and go, oh my God, just make it go away. You can tell they do that. Yes, we have to experiment on the kids to save the kids. And of course, the CDC came out this week and said that they're going to make, the COVID shot recommended. They want your children. And this is a shot that's being banned in places like Sweden. I don't know, a couple, like 4 or 5 countries have actually banned the shot for people under 18 years. They won't give it to them because it's dangerous. It's much more dangerous than COVID. So there you have it. It's just aggravating to me. And then, of course, they jumped the Florida Surgeon General for coming out and saying, hey, we've done our own research. We've done our own study. We found out that this shot is much more dangerous to kids than COVID itself. So we're not going to recommend, oh my gosh, you can't do that. He's a science denier. No, they actually did science. They actually did testing. They actually did their own testing. They actually did it where you could just go in and see how they did it. And there you go. So you're not allowed to ask the CDC, so how did you test these people? You're not allowed to ask Pfizer and Moderna. How did you test these people? What did you do to test people? Well, you're not supposed to ask that. Yeah, I am, because science is actually not something that's proven completely 100%. You can never argue with it, especially when it comes to what we're seeing now, because everything that we've been saying since 2020, they've been slowly finding out for themselves, slowly rolling out and trying to tell you, trying to get you to think that they have uncovered something new, that none of this has ever come out before. It's just goofy. How do you trust the media anymore? How do you trust government anymore? Who do you trust? Yes, train going through. There's no strikes around here, not for Norfolk Southern. Go right through my backyard. They have been doing a lot of work on that. So there you have it. What else is going on in the wonderful, wonderful world? We missed this last week. I tried to get this. The Steele dossier source, Igor, is it Igor? It's Igor. You know, I'm a very excellent surgeon. I can remove that hump. I have a hump. Igor Danchenko was acquitted of lying to the FBI in latest Durham trial. So apparently there really is two levels. Actually, there's three levels of justice now in the United States. This is according to the New York Post hole digger. It says a key source for the salacious Trump-Russia dossier was acquitted by a federal jury Tuesday in a case that raised more questions about the FBI's handling of its probe into the 45th president's 2016 campaign. The panel cleared Igor Danchenko of 4 counts of lying to the Bureau following approximately 10 hours of deliberation across 2 days after the case judge dropped a 5th count against him last week. Roger Stone not available for comment. The verdict was the second acquittal at a trial in a case brought by special counsel John Durham in connection with the developments FBI's counterintelligence probe nicknamed Crossfire Hurricane. Despite Danchenko's acquittal, the trial produced several bombshells about the investigation, including testimony from an FBI analyst that the Bureau had offered Christopher Steele, the former MI6 spy who compiled the file, $1 million in October 2016 to make its outrageous claims against Trump stick. Let's look at that again. The FBI offered Christopher Steele, he's the guy that came up with the Steele dossier, $1 million to make its outrageous claims against Trump stick. They literally were going to pay this dude $1 million if he could make any of these charges stick. The dossier, which was published in full by BuzzFeed News in January 2017, purported to document Trump's tight ties with Moscow. It may be best remembered for the claim that a future president paid prostitutes to urinate on a bed in a Moscow hotel room. In fact, we all know that it was proven it was wrong. It was proven that the whole thing was made up. The whole thing was a lie. And the FBI offered this guy $1 million. It's called bribery. How come FBI members aren't swinging from trees right now? How come we don't have locked up heads of the FBI? Comey, Strzok, Page, all of these culprits that did this. Why are they not locked up right now? What is going on in the upper levels? I could tell you, I can speculate what's going on. You look at the FBI's history, you look at when the FBI was formed, you look at what they used to do. I guarantee you that they have dirt on every single person that's trying to go after them. If you find this person guilty, we're going to release this information. If you find this person guilty, we're going to release this information. If you don't make this go away, we're going to find this, and it's going to come out, and you're going to look bad. The FBI is really good at blackmailing people. The FBI is really good at coercing people. In fact, I was just in a conversation this morning about the Nashville bombing. Do you even remember the guy that blew up the buildings in Nashville. He blew up a motorhome in downtown Nashville. He said 5G was going to destroy us all. They had like a big warning to get out, and then he played a song and everything blew up. Yeah, well, the FBI pushed that way down into a hole. They came out with the whole, this is what happened, and it was a nothing thing. They did more praising of local police, and they did nothing to convince anybody of why this guy did it. Almost exactly like the Vegas shooting. It makes me wonder how many of these things the FBI are completely involved in. No, I don't trust the FBI. NSA, if you're listening to this, guys from the NSA, do me a favor. Go over to the FBI headquarters and smack somebody for me. I don't trust them. I don't trust them. I don't trust you. Why should I? You have given me no reason to trust any of you. You want my trust? Leave me alone. Let me be free. I'm not ranting too badly tonight. I'm in too good of a mood to rant too bad. I'm more or less laughing at people. We're going to probably take an early break. Before we do, I want to get into this Texas DPS thing. Texas Department of Public Service fired the first officer over the Uvalde shooting response. This is from statesman.com. It says the Texas Department of Public Safety fired an officer Friday who was at the scene of the Uvalde school massacre and becomes the first member of the state police force to lose their job in the fallout over the hesitant response to the May attack. It wasn't just a hesitant response. They didn't let anybody go in there and try to save the children. The department served Sergeant Juan Maldonado with termination papers. Spokeswoman Erica Miller said, no details were offered about his role at the scene of the May 24th shooting at Robb Elementary School or the specific reason Maldonado was fired. The firing comes 5 months after the mass shooting that has put state police under scrutiny over their actions, or lack thereof, on the school campus as a gunman with a, of course, AR-15 style. They won't come out and say AR-15 because these people really don't know what an AR-15 is. AR-15 style rifle killed 19 children and 2 teachers. Of course, Maldonado cannot be reached for comment on Friday night. Now, body camera footage and media reports have shown the Department of Public Safety had a larger role at the scene than the department appeared to suggest after the shooting. State troopers were among the first wave of officers to arrive, but did not immediately confront the gunman, which experts say goes against standard police procedure during mass shootings. Instead, more than 70 minutes passed before officers finally stormed inside a 4th grade classroom and killed the gunman, ending one of the deadliest school attacks in U.S. history. Nearly 400 officers in all eventually made their way to the scene, including state police, Uvalde police, school officers, and U.S. Border Patrol agents. I have a lot of questions about this. I have a lot of questions to go about all this. I want to know why they thought it was a great idea to let a madman with a gun sit in there and shoot innocent children and teachers. Are they cowards? Are they cowards? We know some of them wanted to go in and were ordered not to. Who gave the order to have Maldonado and any of the others tell everybody around them, we can't go in, we can't go in, we can't? They heard people dying in there. They heard people getting shot in there. I know a lot of good police officers, and I have faith that the majority of the officers at that scene would have rushed right in there, but they were being kept from it. And I want to know why. I want to know why. If they're cowards, yank their badges. They don't deserve to have them. If somebody was giving the orders not to go in there, find out who. Find out the very top of who was giving that order. And that person needs to be hanged. Good old-fashioned hanging, like a cattle thief. And no, I'm not sorry for saying something like that. And yes, Mike, me too. I'm still mad at the cops for obeying that order. State Senator Roland Gutierrez, a Democrat whose district includes Uvalde, reacted to news of the firing by saying that accountability in the department should not end there. 90 more to go plus a DPS director, he said. Okay, you know what? I don't care if he's a Democrat. I agree with him. I agree with him 100%. Every officer there needs to go on trial and say, why didn't you disobey orders and rush in there? That would have been my last day as a cop. I would have turned my gun on the guy, given the order, say, no, I'm going in. The only way you're going to stop me is shooting me. I have so many questions on that. Nothing makes sense of that shooting. Just like nothing makes sense of the Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping. Nothing made sense of the Hootery trial. Nothing makes sense of January 6th. Now nothing makes sense of the protests in Lansing, where we know now the FBI gave the state police orders to open the doors and let the protesters inside the Capitol with guns. I want to know what is going on. And if it is government entities meddling in the affairs, trying to create a narrative at the cost of lives of children and innocent people, I want people swinging from trees by their necks. I'm not even going to pretend I don't. All right, we reached the bottom of the hour. When we come back, we're going to look at a very, very, very bad last couple of weeks for the left and how a financial system is starting to tank right before our eyes, even though they believe that they are the future of this planet. Don't go away. We'll be right back at Sunday Night with Alan Ray.
Listen now and don't forget, if you go for that solid jive, you can always keep the dream alive. Palin with Al.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq, Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Welcome back. It is Sunday night. I am Alan Ray. It's Sunday night with Alan Ray. How can you not just turn your TV off, chuck it out the window, and just tune into this show? We have more fun. We have cookies. Welcome to the dark side. Do you know what ESG is? And no, it's not EKG Raptor. It's ESG. You keep mixing the two up. I don't care about your heartbeat. Just as long as it keeps beating and you keep tuning into the show and showing up in the chat room, we're good with it. ESG, environmental, social, and governance. A lot of businesses, more and more businesses as we go through this idiotic transition to a world of stupidity, are being rated by their ESG scores. Banks are rating businesses by their ESG scores, and it's affecting their credit rating. It's affecting how they do business. People are starting to wake up. Leaders in states are starting to wake up to what kind of problems this is causing. And this is tradeforprofit.net says 19 states to investigate banks for ESG style commitment to UN alliance. Okay, now let me back up just a second. Remember how many rants I've had over the past few years about how the World Economic Forum and the United Nations is screwing everything up and trying to basically become the one world government. I mean, Klaus Schwab, how much more evidence do you need that Klaus Schwab is like, I don't know, Adolf Hitler's illegitimate son or whatever he is? Could be Adolf Hitler himself, just changed his name. What's up with Germans? Why do they always want to take over the world? I'm German. I don't want to take over the world. I don't want that kind of responsibility. I don't care what you do. I just want my little corner of the world, and I want you to leave me alone. I don't want to take over anything. I may annex my neighbor off to the right of me. I don't know. We'll see what happens there. I don't know. The ones on the left, I don't know. Their properties. If I annexed on either side of me, I would have an asymmetrical property. That would be kind of cool. Anyways, back to the story. 19 states to investigate banks for ESG-style commitment to UN alliance. It says the war between states and banks over environmental, social, and governance investing and similar practices has reached the doorstep of the UN. A total of 19 state attorneys generals have launched investigations of major financial institutions' commitment to the UN-convened Net Zero Banking Alliance. The alliance's website states that its members control roughly 40% of the world's banking assets, okay? The Net Zero Banking Alliance, United Nations convened, in other words, they're United Nations members, Net Zero Banking Alliance, controls roughly 40% of the world's banking assets and are committed to aligning their lending and investment portfolios with net zero emissions by 2050. In other words, if you're not what they consider carbon neutral, you don't get loans for your business. They control 40% of the world's banking assets. and they are insane. A May statement from the alliance states that it does not support the financing of fossil fuel expansion, but notes that it believes that the immediate divestment from existing fossil fuel positions will not necessarily bring about the required real economy decarbonization that the world needs. That's a lie. It says we are leading to a coalition investigating banks for ceding authority to the UN, which will not only result in the killing of American companies that don't subscribe to the woke climate agenda. These banks are accountable to American laws. We don't let international bodies set the standards for our business. That is a statement from Schmidt? What's his name? Anyways, the following states, Arizona, Arkansas, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, Montana, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas, and Virginia, are among the states now investigating the banks through a powerful tool known as a civil investigative demand. One demand encompasses the following requests. Describe your involvement in each global climate initiative in which you participate, including the date you first began participating, any promises, pledges, or other commitments you made to the global climate initiative, or any actions you made or took pursuant to or consistent with such commitments, or your initial or ongoing participation, and the employees responsible for managing your relationship with each global climate initiative. Schmidt's announcement is the latest salvo in a long-running conflict between major financial institutions and individual U.S. states regarding ESG. State treasurers, such as West Virginia's Riley Moore, have sought to move their state's money from the financial institutions that follow ESG principles. There is a war going on right now as we speak, being fought in the halls of justice. And I'm not talking about the Justice League. I'm not talking about Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman. Oh, what does Aquaman do? Anyways, no. In our court institutions, there is a war being waged against the United Nations intrusion into the banking system of our sovereign nation. The World Economic Forum is right on board and probably backing the United Nations with this agenda. The ESG is the world's biggest scam. And I'm not the only one that thinks that. I'm not the only one that thinks that. I actually, what is it? Medium? It's a website. It's an investing website. Ed Luo came out with this a few days ago. Said, every decade we get a buzzword that is oversold and overhyped to the masses. No, not crypto or blockchain, although it probably qualifies. Today I'm talking about ESG, environmental, social, and corporate governance. S&P removed Tesla from its ESG index, citing Tesla's lack of low carbon strategy. What? Tesla makes electric vehicles. The thing that they want us to go to. The actual vehicle that all of the climate cultists want us to drive. They removed Tesla because of a lack of low carbon strategy and codes of business conduct, along with reported racism and poor working conditions. Tesla, the poster child of electric vehicles, the poster child of battery storage technology, the catalyst driving other car companies, electric strategies, the largest car company by market cap, and the only reason why electric cars are cool. Tesla. That one. So this Luo guy, however you call it, he digs into the data. And he says, naturally, I was curious, so I dug into the data and present you, dear reader, with today's musings. ESG as an investment factor is complete BS. To be clear, the general concept of ESG is fine and dandy. Who wouldn't support those lofty sounding words? But speaking strictly from a financial and economic standpoint, ESG is a scam. There is no financial or investment advantages to ESG funds. Facts. ESG funds don't outperform the wider non-ESG market. That's from a Forbes study. Since all the way back to 2007, ESG fund managers generated annual returns of 5.44%. The MSCI ESG Leader Index generates 4.94 per annum, but compared this to the average non-ESG fund performance of 6.09%. ESG investments don't perform any better. It is a pillar of false virtue, where 20 to 40-year-olds buy and invest in ESG funds to ease their conscience. ESG investing is pure optics built upon our bestial tendencies and phony moralities. The very defining case of doing something to look good without actually doing anything. Perhaps we are driven by guilt, by our new world order governed by social media and our online personas. People live these false lives and proclaim support for ESG to enhance this artificial imagery of woke leftist goodwill. God, I love this guy. If I ever run into this guy in person, I owe him a lunch. My treat. Holy cow. It says, here's my foundational fallacies of ESG. Myths. ESG myths. ESG is intended to be a measure of good. Myth number one. How can you measure goodness? This is nonsense. Good and evil are subjective. You can't possibly measure goodness objectively. Nor does buying a good company mean you'll get better investments, higher valuation, or lower risks. Myth number two. ESG can increase the valuation of a company. Now, for valuation, you're looking at cash flow and risk. Where does ESG show up in terms of cash flow or risk? No answer holds up to scrutiny. What happens during a recession and when wallets are tight? Will people continue to pay higher prices for sustainable, ethically produced goods? No, they won't. Look what we're going through right now. A company can be good. Myth number three, a company can be good and also earn higher returns. This is not correct when you look at the history of humanity. Being good is always the harder path. Being good requires sacrifice. Being good is always more difficult. If being good were easy, we wouldn't need religion to tell us how to save ourselves. I really like this guy. The next myth, ESG helps society. He says this is also laughable. Decades from now, we will still be as dependent on fossil fuels as we are today. The fault does not lie with ESG, though. ESG is only a poor result. The root cause lies with our Western political structure, lobbying influences, and the rise of developing nations, all of whom depend on crude, non-renewable energy resources. At the end of the day, money talks and wealth whispers. ESG will remain a hot buzzword and a feel-good sales pitch. If you're going to invest in ESG companies, at least be honest with yourself and the rest of the world. It's fine to avoid investing in tobacco and oil companies, but don't preach to people that ESG is a good investment opportunity. It's not. The next myth, the biggest pillar of all, ESG as a virtue. ESG is not an act of virtue, at least not a real virtue. I get it. You drive your gasoline cars. You buy your Starbucks coffee, fly to your next vacation, and accidentally throw your plastic bottle into the non-recyclables. You've been trashing the earth all week. And if you think buying an ESG fund will make you feel better, ease your conscience, and feel less guilty, then you do you. Go ahead. Get it off your chest if you need to, but stop promoting it as a better investment alternative to traditional equities and securities. Treat it like a charitable investment rather than to maximize value. And then this guy says, to end today's musings, I've thought about origins of ESG sustainability as an investment class and present my 5-step procedures on how to create a future fad. How to create a future fad. Now, this is great. This guy just nails it right here. Raptor, I only shoot clean bullets. I hope you're not using lead bullets, Raptor, because, lead poisoning, come on. Get with it. Anyways, how to create a future fad. Think of a buzzword, preferably an acronym. preferably nice sounding, and make it super fuzzy. An acronym adds an aura of mystery, and the more fuzziness, the better. Fuzziness allows it to be interpretive, and people will come up with different meanings behind the word. When you also have a nice sounding word, people won't push back. Number 2, this thing will save the world. It's not just going to completely revolutionize XYZ industry. It's going to result in the global paradigm shift. It's going to save us all. Number 3, reverse engineer the concept and look at previous companies that have done something similar. Go back about 10 years at a successful companies, work backwards and find common traits and characteristics to get success factors of your little narrative. Number 4, work with consultants and academia to perform some research. Have them work in their own self-interest. They will obviously confirm or promote your thesis because you've already reverse engineered it. You are forcing something to fit by looking at the data beforehand. Consultants and professors get paid. Everyone's happy. And finally, number 5, sell with heavy marketing. Your buzzword concept has been scientifically proven by third-party consultants and researchers, after all. The public will delude themselves and fall head over heels because who doesn't want to help save the world? ESG is a hot buzzword of the decade. Nothing more. It is pushed by the environmental, the political, and the fashionable. The best thing we can do is bury it and treat it as what it truly is, a charity case that makes people feel good. Wow. This guy just set the entire 40% of the banking industry on fire. Ed Luo, L-U-O. I don't even care what his political take is. I owe this guy a lunch. Someday I'm going to meet him and just, Ed, that was a great article. Yes, I shoot carbon neutral bullets with my railgun. Hopefully, GR, that those are bullets that will break down and you know, are environmentally friendly. ESG is a scam. ESG is a tool being used by the United Nations to rape you of any of your pay, to make businesses bow to their whims, to put businesses they don't like out of business. I guarantee you they're using it against, and I can prove this, that they're using it against ammunition companies, gun companies, and whatever to put them completely under. How is this not fascism? How is this not true, real, honest to God, global fascism? Hint, it is. Completely. And if you don't believe it, I don't know what to tell you. Climate cult is completely fascist BS. The place I went today, Hidden Lake Gardens, okay? Beautiful place. Beautiful place. Huge granite boulders. Every once in a while, just in no place at random. Why? Because many thousands of years ago, it was under 1.5 miles of ice. This entire state used to be buried under ice. And when these ice flows receded, they carved giant ruts into this area. Trees grew up, and now it's absolutely gorgeous. Probably long before there were any humans in this area. How do you explain what made the ice go away? Was it global warming? Was it dinosaur farts? Was it cavemen setting fires, cooking meat? How do you explain it? I'm all about conservation. I'm all about don't throw things away you don't need to. Recycle what you can. Clean up the planet. I'm all about that. But we've turned it into a cult. We've turned it into a religion. It's got its own gods. It's got its own disciples. It's got its own following. What did I see? That Extinction Rebellion, people dressed up like nurses and doctors dancing and singing a song about how we're all going to die. You know, if you're that involved, if you're that crazy about it, if you're that convinced that it's human beings' fault that this earth may or may not be warming up a percentage of a degree, you know what you need to do? You need to just find a cliff and just take the jump. Okay. Oh, you can't say that. Why? Why? If you think your carbon footprint is making such a huge difference, end your carbon footprint. I have something for you. Here's something for a thought. How come you never see how much carbon footprint a government leaves behind? How come you never see what kind of a carbon footprint the United Nations or the World Economic Forum leaves behind? You know, the World Economic Forum, where everybody flies private jets to an airport, takes a caravan of SUVs, and then they talk about how they want you and I to eat bugs, to live in grass huts, to freeze during the summer or during the winter time, die of heat exhaustion during the summer. They don't care. You know, this sounds like Alex Jones level stuff, but all you have to do is visit their websites. Visit the World Economic Forum. They tell you what they want for you. And if you don't think that they are influencing your local, state, and federal government, you're crazy. If you don't think that they are tied into the United Nations, you're crazy. Wake up. These people are insane, and they're foisting it on you. And if you don't start pushing back now, right now, every time you hear this crap, we're going to lose it. Pretty soon it's going to be too late. When this society goes cashless and we're all digital, that's when it's too late. Just so you know. Just so you know. What do we got before we leave? Some feel-good stories. A court temporarily blocks Biden's student loan forgiveness. Whoa, I can't speak tonight. I can't ever, usually. What is the AP? The AP actually is actually reporting this. A federal appeals court late Friday issued an administrative stay temporarily blocking President Joe Biden's plan to cancel billions of dollars in federal student loans. He's not canceling them. They need to stop with that language. Joe Biden is not canceling student loans. He's transferring the debt from the people who promised to pay it back to innocent taxpayers who have nothing to do with these people's student loans. You are literally going to be paying for people who took women's studies or, underwater basket weaving. You're literally going to be paying for their college loan that they promised to pay back themselves. It's not canceling student loans. It's transferring the debt to the taxpayers. Call it what it is. Now, the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals issued the stay while it considers a motion from 6 Republican-led states to block the loan cancellation program. The stay ordered the Biden administration not to act on the program while it considers the appeal. Absolutely insane. These pansies, these weak-minded, weak-willed pansies signed up for a college loan. Figured, oh, well, it's going to work out. That's the problem. The participation trophy generation is so convinced that no matter what happens, everything's just going to work out. That when it doesn't, they don't know how to handle it. And they want somebody to look around and say, somebody's got to help me. Somebody's got to do this for me. No. Fail a few times. Taste what it's like to fail. Taste what it's like. Make success that much sweeter. And these people are never going to know success because they don't know how to succeed. They've been taught to be mindless parrots. They're dumb. And I feel bad for this entire generation coming up because they're dumb. They're very dumb people. I'll leave you with that story. There's more going on. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world. Here in Michigan, Jocelyn Benson, she's trying to tell election officials to let possibly forged signatures go through. They're trying their best to cheat here in Michigan. Already. We see it. We see it every day. She's never even purged the dead people out of the voter rolls. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Next week, Stacy and I will be back with Playing in the Dirt. Got a lot to talk about a new cookbook. It's kind of interesting. It's very interesting. And I know she's going to be talking about hydroponics and not what you think. Keep it locked on KLRNradio.com all week for some of the best programming you can possibly imagine starting tomorrow. Don't switch that dial. Just leave it on there. Get you one of those. Just get you a little bookmark there and just leave it on the whole time. Annoy your friends and family. Leave it on at work while you've got a day off. I'm Alan Ray. We'll talk again next week. Till then, God bless. We'll talk again soon.